In this video, we'll cover these slightly advanced features. If you get stuck at any point, pause the video, rewatch, or contact me. Trust that in time, it will all make sense. Whether you're using SharePoint, Dataverse, Excel Online, or any other data source, we need to see something on the screen. We're going to create a collection. First, we want to add data to our data source. Click the data icon in the left menu. To the right of your data source, click the three dots, then Edit Data. Once you are at the list or the table you created, enter information so that something appears in your app. If you're in SharePoint, save your entry. In Dataverse, click Close to return to the app. With that done, we'll create a collection. Click the tree view. Click on App. In the Properties dropdown, choose On Start. Even though we can connect directly to the data, creating a collection helps your app perform better. Why is that? Imagine a group of volunteers cleaning up trash on a beach. They pick up what they find, then store the trash in a bag. The bag is literally a local storage space that holds items temporarily during the cleanup. A collection is also temporary storage space that keeps your data in your app and is only available when you run the app. This creates faster performance. So how do we do this? It's very simple. We'll add the formula to create a collection when the app starts. There are two types of collections: Collect, which adds data to the collection without removing existing data, and Clear Collect, which clears all data in a collection then adds new data. It does not delete data from your data source, just a temporary collection. That's the one we want. Clear removes the data from the collection. Collect adds new data into the collection. Open parenthesis. Call assessment, descriptive name you choose for your collection. Your data source. Close parenthesis. Double-click on our collection, Call assessment. No data shows yet. Click the three dots next to App. Click Run on Start. This refreshes the collection. Double-click on Call assessment. Now the data shows. Copy the formula, then paste it to the On Select of the button in our gallery. This refreshes your data whenever you click these buttons. Go to the end of your existing formula. Add a semicolon and paste. Next up, we'll bring in a form. Go to the testing screen to add a form. After we finalize the form, we'll copy and paste it where users need it. Screen New. Insert, Edit Form. As you can see, there is also a display form, but don't use it. An edit form can be converted to three different types: Edit, Display, and View. Display forms cannot change and are only for displaying information. After we add the form and we have it set up, I'll show you the difference between the two. Choose Edit Form. Name it Form New Assessment. In the right Properties menu, change the data source to AUOSLOS. Position the form on the screen. All of the fields did not come in, but that is what we want for now. This next portion is a bit advanced, so buckle up and hang in there. All the fields we created are in your data source, just not added to the form. We'll eventually add them all. In the right Properties pane, click Edit Fields. Then Add Field. We'll add what I call administrative fields. You can also search for the fields you want. Next, we need to organize the fields. Two ways to do this. You can drag and drop the fields up as needed, or you can move them on the form by grabbing the data card. Click on a data card on the form, then drag and drop it. The field inside the card will go with it. A A data card is a container inside a form that displays a single field in your data source. So keep doing this until you have your fields in the proper order. Next, change the default mode to New, then save your work. With that out of the way, I'll add a display form to show you the difference between edit and display. Remember we changed the edit form to a new form? That capability is not available on a display form. A display form is only for displaying data. I'll remove that, then let's save our work. Once you've arranged these fields in the correct order and removed what you don't need, let's set the visibility of the remaining fields to the variables we created earlier. When the AUO1 button in our gallery is selected, it creates the variable AUO1. What we want is to only see the AUO1 related questions when that button is clicked, AUO2 related questions when the AUO2 button is clicked, and so on. The administrative questions will always be visible, so this doesn't apply to them. On the form, click on the AUO1 data card. Go to that card's visible properties and create an if statement. If var question equals AUO1, true, otherwise false. Then do the same for AUO2. AUO3, and so on to each data card. If var question equals AUO2, true, otherwise false. Next up, we need to add instructions from the Word document. In SharePoint, there's a description for each of the column fields, so if you're in SharePoint, you can add the wording there. But we don't have that in Dataverse. From our Word document, we'll copy the wording from the first row, first column. Go back to your app and insert a text label. Position it off to the right. In the formula bar between the quotes, paste in your text. Adjust it as need be. Since this is part of AUO1, copy the visibility formula from the AUO1 data card, and that formula to the text label's visibility. Now that we know how it works, we are going to create a switch statement, not for the visibility yet, but rather to display different text. The easy way would be to add one text label for each question. A switch statement is 10 times better. In the end, you will have this for visibility. Pause the video and type it out. Move your if statement down one line, then comment it out. Type in your switch statement. To show you how it works, I will only do AOU1 through 5. Then I'll do the rest. In your case, you can take care of it all at once. Highlight and copy the formula. In addition to visibility, let's copy then paste the same formula for text. Copy the sentence from Word. Replace true after each condition. Be sure to include quotes. And for the 3 SLOs, make sure you paste in that wording. This is what your completed formula will look like. Pause the video. In the next scene, I'm going to grab all of the sentences from the Word document to add them as comments in the formula bar. This way I can use them when I'm ready. Be sure to rename your control. We commented out individual lines of code. Now we'll comment out a block of code. Let's test the SLO portion of the formula. Although this wasn't intentional, there is a mistake in the formula. I kept it in the recording because it's a common mistake to make. I had false at the end of my formula instead of 2 double quotes for blank. At this point, your formula should be complete. I need to update mine with SLO. Like the text property, I'll update the visible property of the control. When we change tabs, the variable needs to be reset. We'll set it to blank. Very simple. Select the radio control, then choose the onChange property. Set var question, comma, blank, open parenthesis, close parenthesis again. Our buttons are no longer selected and the variable is blank. Like we've done before, we can use switch statements. Repeat this process until all of your AUO1 fields have their visibility altered. After the AUO1 fields, do the same for the AUO2 fields with this. If var question equals AUO2, true, otherwise false. Then do the same for the AUO3 fields, AUO4 and AUO5 fields, SLO1 fields, SLO2 and SLO3. Then feedback 1, feedback 2, feedback 3, and feedback 4 fields. First, add a border to the form to visually help us develop. With those features done, let's add in all the remaining fields to the form that we need. AUO1 assessment measures through AUO5 reflecting on past action planning. Put them in order. Then do the same for the SLO1 assessment measures through SLO3 reflecting on past action planning. Finally, add in feedback 1 through feedback 4. With all the fields on the form, make sure they're in order. Like we did initially with the first few data cards, add the visibility formulas for all the respective AUO, SLO, and feedback fields. With that completely done, we'll work on our text label that we created to conditionally show and change text. Remember the question text control, label, AUO question we created with the switch formula? We will adjust the formula so that it only appears when a related field is clicked on. We will create variables, but these will only apply to this screen. Update context. On your form, click on the data card for AUO1, then click the text input field. In the tree view, find your form, then find the data card for AUO1 assessment measures. You will see that field is selected. See the data card value for the input field in that card? On my screen, it's data card value 71. Remember the name of yours. In the onSelect property of that input control, type update context, open parenthesis, open curly bracket, UC selected data card, colon, 71 in my case, close curly bracket, close parenthesis. UC stands for update context and the number at the end is the number from the data card. Do the same for each input control in your form and make a list of the data card values. This will help keep you from getting confused. After updating all AUO1 input controls, test your work. In your label AUO1 question, go to the text formula. We'll make the switch formula interact with the input controls. If all is well, go to the AUO questions by clicking the AUO2 button. Create the update context variables for those data cards. Select label AUO question. From the 61 through the end of 79, copy. Add a comma to the end of line 79, hard return, then paste in the lines of code. Change those numbers at the beginning to what you wrote down for the AUO2 input fields. For me, that's 108, 80, 84, 81, 82, 86, and 83. Test your work. Then if all is well, do the same with AUO3, 4, 5, SLO1, 2, 3, and the feedback questions. So now when you click on a field in your form, the wording relevant to that field appears on the form. We're not done, but if you had a few bumps along the way, that's normal. Just remember, if you get stuck, contact me and we'll go from there. In the next video, we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel and we'll be closer to finalizing the app. If you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you. Stay awesome. Have a blessed day. See you in the next one. And remember, be epic.